Welcome back to What's Sewing On. Today I am doing part 2 of my 1939 Home for the Holidays dress. If you watched part 1, you'll know that I ran into a lot of issues and I wanted to give up. And I almost did, but at the same time I knew I wanted to finish it. I had some ideas of how to fix the problems I was going through. So now I'm going to hopefully figure out how to do that. At the end of the last video, I said I wasn't sure if I was going to, so I took a day to edit that video. I put it out on Monday, and then I pretty much took Monday off just to kind of regroup and come up with some ideas. I also watched Selena on Netflix, and it was basically all I want to do right now is dye my hair, bedazzle my wardrobe, and wear gold hoops.
Hoop earrings were her thing.
But that's not in the cards for me right now because I really want to finish this dress because I had such high hopes. When I was editing the video, I saw how excited I was at the very start, and I really need to finish this dress. So the problem I ran into is, although the dress pretty much fit in most areas, it didn't fit right in the middle of my bust. I'm thinking of putting a black velvet button placket in the middle and kind of closing up the area along the waist, and hopefully that will work. I think it will tie in with the belt, it will tie in with the collar, and I also want to put some cuffs on the sleeves, so I think that will bring it all together. So the dress is pretty much finished. All I have left to do is the button placket, put in the sleeves, do the hem. At the start of the video, I was using the 1939 Singer sewing machine. Obviously, I am not at my parents' house anymore, so I will be using my own brother sewing machine, which means a machine I'm super comfortable with. I can do buttonholes on the machine, so I don't think this is going to take me that much time. But again, I don't know how it's going to fit. I'm kind of worried about the button placket because the waist fits fine, the neck fits fine, it's just between the bust. If I add an inch on the top and the inch at the waist, it's obviously going to be bigger, so I'm not really sure how that's going to fit. The waist does have a belt, so I'm not too worried about that, but I don't know what the chest is going to look like. But I can't really think of any other way to do it, so I'm just going to give this a shot and hopefully it works out. If not, I'm still working with velvet, I'm still adding on a button placket, and I'm doing modifications to something, so I'm not that worried if it doesn't turn out. I've kind of changed my mindset of I already don't expect this dress to be perfect. I just want to finish it to say I did and to learn what I can from it. So I think the first thing I'm going to start with is the button placket, so let's get to it. I started out with an effective stare down technique to insert dominance and show the dress who's boss.
Finish him!
Also burning a peace offering to the sewing gods to ward off any new mistakes. I measured the gap to add a button placket, which was 1.5 inches wide and 13 inches long. Then I drew out a pattern and equally cut 2 pieces on the fold that measured 3.5 by 13 inches, which includes all seam allowances.
Come to me, two-stepping man. Come to your baby just as fast as you can.
Then cutting 3 by 13 inches of interfacing and fusing that together. Next, sewing the raw edges together, right sides together, flipping it and attaching that to the front facings with a whip stitch, then securing it to the front with a slip stitch. Next, I added a front panel to the skirt to blend the placket into the waist. This is what I have now. It's all sewn together. This will lay flat like that. I put an overlap over here so it should lay all flat together. I'm going to be making a kind of belt extension to go right over here to cover it because I'm not really in love with the way that looks. So I think just having kind of an overlay of a belt will kind of hide everything and just tie it all together. I have to do the buttonholes here. I'm going to work on the sleeves right now, and then the hem, and then that will be the dress. So the darts are all in down the side. Next step is slash darts. What? Sleeves. Don't know if it fits. I just am mentally not prepared to try it on and have the sleeves not fit. I think what I want to do right now is do the buttonholes, because then when I do try it on, at least I can button it up and I can see what it officially will look like. So for the buttons, my mom gave me these super cool vintage buttons. They were 60 cents. Oh no, but the sticker says that whoever bought them got them for 56 cents. They're super adorable. I actually love the size of them. So they're self-covered buttons. And this little push-out thing, which I'm gonna have to take off anyways, is the pattern that you use to cut out with the velvet, so it lays over perfectly. So I'm really excited to use these. If I hate the dress, I'm gonna take them off because I'm definitely gonna wanna use them again. So the pattern calls for 4. I'm just going to do 3, and then underneath I'm gonna have metal clasps just to make sure that it closes and stays tightly shut. And then the cuffs will also have 2 buttons. So I'm going to cut out the buttons. I'm going to measure them on here and then start sewing buttonholes. Am I the only one that doesn't like to destroy even packaging of vintage things? How do I get it off without ripping the whole package? I don't think it's possible. Oh. Like, am I actually going to keep this? Probably. I have my 3 buttonholes done and in, and see how you can see the interfacing. I honestly hate that. So what I do, I did it to this one. Actually, I could probably do it a little bit more, but I just take a black Sharpie. I don't know if this is okay to do, but I just lightly kind of go over just the facing just to hide the white. Usually with the button, you won't be able to tell anyways, but it bugs me. So what I do with the pin is I just put it right in the center of the buttonhole, and I just kind of push it down so I know it's into the other one. And then I'll just do the same thing again, pushing a different color pin right through the center of the buttonholes, pushing them down, and then taking the top placket off of the pin. And then if I push them all down, you can see they're basically exactly the same. So that's where your buttons have to go. So now I'm going to go sew my buttons onto this placket. Next, I measured the cuff of my sleeves and cut out 2.5 inches wide of velvet. I sewed the raw edges together, flipped and hand stitched the cuff to the sleeve. Then finished the dress with the hem. It is nowhere near perfect. I do not like it. It is not something I'm ever going to wear, but I wanted to finish it more for myself, for my thought process with sewing, and just to learn more from it than actually to wear it. And all in all, it was all thrifted. This fabric was $5.99. The skirt was $3.99. So I didn't really spend much on it, but I did learn a ton from it. So I guess it's a win, even though the finished product is definitely a fail. There's a lot of mistakes on this dress. Some, for starters, the sleeves. This sleeve turned out very nice. I really like the look of it. It has nice movement. I like where it hits on my shoulder. It has a little bit of a puff sleeve, which is super cute. And I just really like this sleeve. This sleeve? The only thing I think of is they're cousins, not sisters. This one drops a little bit further down, more on the slope of my shoulder than actually where it should, like this one. And it's also a lot larger. When I set the sleeve in, I just set it in and then I didn't even try it on, which I already knew was a mistake because you should try it on to make sure it does fit and end up where it should be. But at the same time, I just kind of wanted to get the dress done. So whatever. The biggest mistake is obviously this bust. I mentioned in my intro that I was worried about adding in this button placket of velvet. It was going to make it wider at my waist and also up here on my chest, which it did, but I didn't realize it was going to make it this much bigger. There's a lot of room down there. I'm pretty sure there's probably an echo. Hello, hello. And I know I could fix this by taking off the swan neck, but I just really couldn't be bothered at this point. I've already lost so much interest in the dress. I already knew I didn't like the silhouette, and also the amount of mistakes that are in it. I would never want to wear this out because I'm not proud of it, which is fine because again, I learned a lot from it. This dress cost me a total of $10. So really, it's almost like I made a mock-up of the dress first, even though I don't intend to make this dress again. I do like the belted look, and I do really like the back of the dress still. It's just the front that is not working. But all in all, I didn't have that much fun making the dress. I initially went into the project thinking it was going to be amazing. But other than that, I got to see my parents. I got to spend some really great time with them. I got to use a super cool antique sewing machine, which I'm definitely going to be using again. I got to see my kitties. I got some meals made for me, which was amazing. So all in all, I had a really great time outside of making the dress. And with making the dress, I learned a lot. So you know what? I'm not super upset about it. I'm just really looking forward to my next project because I'm actually going to be able to complete it because I have A, used the pattern before, and B, it's of a show that I've already done, but another look. So I think all in all, it's going to turn out to be a great look. Probably shouldn't have said that. Please don't get mad at me for it.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Thank you so much for watching and coming along on this dramatic 1939 disaster of a dress. I hope you enjoyed what you've seen. If you have, please give it a like and I hope you subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. I think I need something stronger. Which seems so easy. Oh boy. Swan neck, swan neck, swan neck, swan neck things. Swan neck, goose neck. Wiener, are you in here? Freaking funny farm in here. And someone's here.